And hey, everybody, how are you doing? It's a very sad day, a very wild Tuesday day, dated December 28th, 2020. A very wild Tuesday day, dated December 28th, 2021. And I had to start this live stream to remember John Madden on the news that he passed away at 85 years old. And we were all shocked. My mom didn't have a chance to meet Coach Madden, but she knew Marvin Upshaw, Gene Upshaw, good friends with Otis Sistrunk. And being from Oakland, we've known so many people who were with the Raiders in different capacities. But there's one person that came to the top of my mind to call because he's one of my good friends, and that's Charlie Santana Jr. You may have seen him if you follow this program. You may have seen him in this photograph with John Gruden and me. And I believe is that Jeff? What's that guy's name? Jeff Schmarja?
That was Jeff Grimoja. He worked for Don King. He was the Guilty Boxing. He was one of the best cut men ever.
Yeah.
And he became a boxing promoter. Since then, he's retired. But don't forget the Rebels of the 70s.
And then he was in and then also Charlie was in something called Rebels of the 70s. It is a documentary that came out roughly 7 years ago. And longer than that, I stand corrected. But it's with such people here. Take a look at this cast, folks. Rebels of the 70s right here. Here's the cast. All right. Tom Hanks is there. Then there's John Madden, and then there's Chuck Santana. That's the man that's talking on the phone now. You've seen me interview him. He told me, you remember that time we were at the Raider game? You told me about the Raider image and how Mark Davis created the Raider image.
Oh yes, Mark did that. That was his thing, man. He did that. He was the Raiders were the first one on the internet when nobody knew what the internet was, selling merchandise, and he invented that glove warmer that the players use in the field when it's freezing. The little glove warmers that the players wear. That was part of his. That was Mark's smarter than a lot of people think.
Yeah. Oh, I completely. Yeah. Hey, what do you remember about John Madden?
Oh, the coach. I never called him by his name. I love the coach because those years with him, all I picture him in was a dark blue golf shirt and light blue pants. You know why?
Why?
Because they would always win. So why was he in that? I don't care what the weather's like.
That's right. He was suspicious that way. He was superstitious that way.
He's like me. When I golf, I wear the same socks.
Right.
I love it. The coach and I are a little kooky. You got to be kooky to be a coach. You got to be kooky to sell cars, which I do. He wore the same outfit because they always won.
Yep.
Think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the coach from Daly City, but he can handle the weather because he's a Daly City boy. Fod, You go to San Francisco, there's a sun. Oh, I remember that, and I got to meet him years later.
Yeah, what I like about John is he had never changed, and I have, for a guy that didn't start off in football, with Otis Sistrunk and all the Raider players I met, and John Madden was the guy that he never put on airs. He never had much to say. And as I was saying to Charlie off the phone, to be honest with you, there were so many, because by the time I had risen to a position where I was in the same room as he, there were a lot of hangers on. There were a lot of, people who had something to say and everything. And I thought, well, I'm going to give them their space. And so I never really had a chance to talk with him. But my first Raider game was 1974. My optometrist was there, and all the people that I came to know in my life that have been so special, including the men I'm talked to, were part of a team that was coached by John Madden. And My point is that we're talking about the original Oakland Raiders and what it meant to Oakland, what they meant to Oakland, and the kind of persona they built, the kind of people they were, fun-loving, frank, but always caring. Amy Trask was part of that. There's not a, Amy Trask was on this show a few months ago, and Raider Nation for life. And there's a whole group of us that really embody the spirit of the team, which in turn embodies the spirit of what Oakland was about, of Oakland. And that's what I want people to know. John Madden represented that, and he took it around the world with him. He didn't let the world change him. John never let the world take Oakland out of him. John put Oakland into the world. Right, John? Right, Chuck?
John created a winner. He told the guys, come to work on time, study, know your place, and work hard. That's all I ask. I'm not going to question anything else.
Yep.
And he was loose with that. And that team back there, those were the days where people, I had to say it, they partied in many, many ways. This might sound funny to a lot of people are crazy. Thank God there was no fentanyl back there. We might have lost a lot of players.
Yeah.
That's sort of a joke, but you know what I'm getting
at. I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
But Coach, anytime you seen the coach, it was coach, respect, and he was loved. He was a player's coach. It is as simple as that. He was a player's coach.
But you know what I remember? He didn't, from a distance, he didn't let his people run over him, because I remember the story where he got so mad.
Nobody ran over Coach.
No, I remember. Who did we lose to? Was it the Chargers or the Steelers, where he smashed the blackboard? Remember that? He smashed that black.
I don't remember that. When he gets mad, he gets mad.
Yeah, he got mad. He smashed the blackboard. It was all over the news. It was all over the place, and he just didn't like the news. Losing got to him. Yeah,
we got. If you know way back, you're a little young. There's 4 instances I could tell you we had games stolen from us, and I don't know if it was the referees. I don't know if it was vengeance against.
Well, excuse me. You want to? Hey, I remember the name Fred Swearingen. Fred Swearingen was that referee that made that pass interference call.
What game?
Again, I'm talking about the Bronx when Haven Mosens caught that 74-yard touchdown pass, and for the Broncos against us.
Oh, that was the 78.
Yeah, 78. Yeah, remember that?
And after we won the Super Bowl, that would have got us to the Super Bowl. They stole the game from us.
Yeah, right. They wound up playing the Cowboys. We'd have beaten the Cowboys.
I think that game there, because he retired after that. Yeah. I think that game there ate his stomach up, and he probably didn't want to hear the flack from Al Davis, and he just stopped. He quit.
Yeah,
that was sick. That was sickening. I'm glad that's amazing you brought that up. People don't remember that.
No, I remember like it happened yesterday. I was sick to my stomach.
That was our terrible call.
I was sick to my stomach, and I remember when we played the Baltimore Colts and Burt Jones and Dave Casper, who later handled my 401ks. Don't know if you know that. Dave caught that. Was a 46-yard touchdown pass over the middle, goes to the post. Remember that?
Yep.
That was Madden. That was Madden, and he is the chef of so many of the meals, the cultural meals that we've enjoyed as Raider fans and people part of Raider family and Raider Nation, which extends beyond the players. But people like you and I, and we talk about Tom Hanks and Richard Lieberman.
Yeah.
And we're all like brothers and sisters, and we fight like cats and dogs. But you don't mess with our folks.
All I know is I was at the Super Bowl party that Al Davis put on after the win. It was 77 year. It was 78 when we won the Super Bowl, beat Minnesota. Old Man Willie. Got that exception.
Yep.
That's the game where it was Dr. Death, Skip Thomas.
Dr. Death. Yep.
And both of them, nobody knows this. This is good scoop because they both passed away. They know they're listening to the coach. They call me Coach Santana. And they had a bet who could hit him the hardest.
Uh-oh.
And who hit him. So actually, Clarence Davis won the bet. Everybody sees Jack Tatum, but they didn't notice that Clarence hit him first. They had a bet on that. Who could knock him out? They wanted to knock him out.
Say what?
Yeah, that's some good stuff that came from one of the players. I ain't going to name which one. Skip Thomas, Dr. Death, and Jack Tatum had a bet that game. Who was the guy that caught that ball? Sammy, I can't remember his name. For Minnesota.
Sammy White.
Who can knock Sammy White out? They went for his head. You couldn't get away with that nowadays.
No, you couldn't. Do you remember the call from that play?
Oh God, please. I'll never forget it. And after that game, we were at the Newport Marriott Hotel. There was a discotheque next door. Mm-hmm. That's when disco was big in 79. Our party had a live band. And when Al Davis threw a party, he would never show up. Al would throw a party like he wanted a party. You didn't wait for drinks. You didn't wait for food. He had overabundance of employees taking care of his guests. James Gardner was there.
Yep.
You want to talk about a happy party? We finally won the Super Bowl. John Madden, am I right? Just like Bill King called. He looked like a split watermelon the whole game. All he did was smile. Coach, I love you. He was the best coach. I'm on the dance floor dancing with Casper. It was the best party ever. I must have met 20 girls, and I went to bed alone that night. I said, I was 24. I go, I'm going to find my new wife today. Guess what? I didn't mean it. I ended up with nothing. We were so excited the Raiders won. And then my dad said, son, we got to fly back. How are you getting home? I go, I'll figure it out. I flew back with the Raiderettes and the Del Courtney band. I said, wow. I'm walking off the airplane with suitcases at the airport in Oakland. They roped it all off. You got to hear this. Is a great story. They roped it off, and and this girl from high school said, Dada, what are you doing? I go, oh, shit, she recognized me. I'm kissing her. Everybody goes, who's that guy? And I just kept walking. I go, shit, I look like I should have said I was the punter. That's the best day in the history of my life. Other than Clarence Davis, CD, my boy, CD, catching that ball with 4 guys on Kenny Stabler going to the ground. Oh, there's so many stories, man.
Oh, hey, folks.
So many stories.
Here's various photographs of that hit that Jack Tatum put,
coach.
and that Charlie was talking about, where Sammy White. The call from the late great Bill King. Remember that?
Best.
Remember that?
Holy Toledo.
Holy Toledo. Tarkenton goes back to throw. He throws, and he is creamed. Helmet going one way, chin strap going the other. Holy Toledo.
And he didn't drop the ball.
No, he caught. That's right.
Sammy White was poor Minnesota. They lost 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, they did. They sure did. Hey, so
what a game. God,
you know what's amazing to me too is that John was the other reason I remember it was at Raider headquarters. He was there, and this was when I tell you what he was in there. It was when Jack Del Rio was. I think you were there when Del Rio was named head coach. We had the press conference. I know you were there. You were there.
No, I missed that. I couldn't get to that, but I was there with Reggie McKenzie, was named the GM. I was invited to that. And I was with all the players, the LA players. We all went out that night.
Yeah.
That was a good – we should have never lost Reggie and Jack Del Rio.
No, we shouldn't. Reggie was –
we should have –
yeah,
Reggie's the best, man.
I completely agree.
And guess who had a lot to do on that? John Madden.
There you go. Really? I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Come on.
That's right, because there was a time when Madden was he was a consultant to the team, right?
Well, and Mark needed advice. Come on, he just took over a big job, man. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight on Mark's shoulders.
That's right. Yeah, he sure did. Yeah. That's right.
Who's not going to listen to them? Who's not going to listen to the advice of Coach Madden? And I'll tell you, he's not happy they went to Vegas, but that's a done deal. Nothing to talk about. That
Right.
hurt.
Right.
One of that team somehow to stay in Oakland. Damn it.
Yeah, I think
that hurts.
the sad legacy of the Raiders in Oakland, I think, is a less than optimal relationship with the city government, which always seemed to act like it was a little jealous. I don't know if maybe that's the other part of our city that we need to have go away, but it hasn't served us well. In other words, rather than celebrating somebody else's success or making sure, it's more like it seemed like the government was kind of bent on disrespect until they left, and then Ezra and everybody got to work and got him back, But
my dad brokered that deal. Don't ever forget that.
That's right. Hey, Charlie Santana Jr. is Junior for a reason. Senior was Alameda County Supervisor Charlie Santana.
He brokered the deal.
Brokered the deal to bring the Raiders back to Oakland from Los Angeles. And he is forever, you know what? He should be, your dad should be forever cemented. And we need a new Hall of Fame in there because one thing I didn't like about the A's proposal is tearing down the stadium. I'm thinking, wait a minute, you got a Hall of Fame in there. Why do you want to tear that down?
It's an old stadium. It's got to go.
Yeah, but we're gonna do with the Hall of Fame. Your dad's in it. We got to have some place to remember these folks. We have to have a physical place.
If they get the new stadium in Oakland, which isn't a dead deal yet, maybe they'll do it. Who knows?
But how about a separate Hall of Fame, Oakland Sports Hall of Fame?
With the present group of politicians, good luck. I have faith in who's the most powerful person in Oakland to help us out. Nobody.
Why do we have to leave it to the politicians? Why don't we do it? We know enough people with money and all this stuff. We can at least give it a try, right? I'd rather go down swinging than not swing at all.
I have no faith in the present politicians anymore.
I'm not talking about the politicians. We just a venue where we have,
they're all dying. They're all gone.
That's what I'm saying, though. We have to have something to preserve everybody. We preserve our way of life. You ought to be in it because we have to have a place for you. There ought to be a bust of you in it. I'm serious.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm serious about that. It should be a bust of you.
I know.
And all the people that made up our town that really formed the Raiders and who the Raiders were. All right. We can't lose that because I'm sorry. Look, from a financial standpoint, I'm happy they're in Vegas, even though I wasn't for the move. Okay. But it turned out for the best. But that said, if they had but here's the thing. That said, had they had a new stadium in Oakland, they would have financially benefited from that too. Would they have benefited as well as in Las Vegas? Yeah, I think so. But again, on the other hand, there is an asterisk. Why? Because the number of events that are there and a whole Vegas show and all that stuff. But I digress.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
But I digress. But my point is that there is, and I like to think of it this way. I like to think that Las Vegas is becoming more like Oakland. I like to think that Oakland is kind of pouring the sprinkle of dust that made us great into Las Vegas, and we're still sprinkling in it. And eventually, when the sprinkling is done, the Raiders will emerge a winner, and so will the city. But But John Madden was the man who put this into play, along with Al Davis and Aldo Casal, who was my great friend for so many years. Do you know Aldo Casal put me on the Raiderette judge group?
Yeah, he used to invite me to that, but my wife didn't want me to do it. But I think the present Raiderettes are pretty good looking, though.
Oh, and smart. They have three lawyers on there.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I met two of them. And
God. Oh, God, you're funny.
Well, hey, they're sharp. Hey, beauty and sharpness go together when Raiderette world,
There's nothing like it. 3 attorneys. I love that one.
Absolutely. And how do you think? Look, you know what the crowning achievement is for as far as I'm concerned regarding John Gruden is the fact that we have Madden. I mean, I said John Gruden. I meant, but you know, that's a funny thing. I think John Gruden. I think the original idea with Gruden was that Gruden was going to become on the next Madden, but it didn't quite work out that way, did it?
He was no Madden. No way.
What do you think happened?
No way. Whole other subject. We don't have time to talk about that right now.
Gotcha. But
I hope he takes the NFL on, because that was dirty.
It was dirty. Yeah, I think
it wasn't done. It wasn't done right, Zenny.
No, they did. That was a hit piece, a hit act.
Yeah,
without question. Yeah. But what I was going to say about Madden, though, is the crowning glory is that John Madden is forever
Nothing
immortalized
like him,
because of his game, Madden. You know.
Yeah, game. Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's unbelievable. Yep.
Have you ever played it?
I don't play video games.
Oh man, it's great. I love it. I have had. I'm going to buy a new one.
The players play it. The players start developing plays from whatever's on the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I even had I have a new offense called the Eagle offense for the NFL. I sent it to Mike Taylor. You know Mike Taylor, the Raiders PR guy. And so,
I told him I was going to the game. He didn't call me back.
And Mike said, "Can I use this in Madden?" I said, "Yes, you can."
Okay. Hey, are we still on the tape?
We're still talking, man. Yeah, we're live.
Oh, I got it. Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, we are live. Yeah, we've been jabbering. I have to explain, folks. Joseph Amandura has created the picture that's on the cover of this, and I didn't even know Joseph Amandura is one of our vloggers and friend. I didn't even know it was him. I thought I saw this in search. I was looking for a photo to use in search, and it said "Once a Raider, always a Raider." And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll use it. And I looked down and it said Power Director. I thought, oh, wait a minute, this is Joseph's. I hadn't seen this video on Madden. So Joseph, man, I borrowed your artwork.
That's good.
So we've got so many players from the Madden era. We've got Dave Bannon. Remember Dave Banaszak?
The Rooster.
The Rooster. Mark Van Egan.
Fantastic running back.
Clem Daniels.
The mayor of Oakland.
The mayor of Oakland. That's right. Clem Daniels, the mayor of Oakland.
Should have been the mayor of Oakland.
Absolutely. The aforementioned Dave Casper.
The ghost for the post. Yep.
Ray Chester, who I called earlier. Hope Ray is well. I haven't heard from him. I hope he's well.
I just golfed with him. I golfed with him 3 months ago. He's walking slow.
Oh, okay. Because I tried to reach out to him a month ago. I had him on the show talking about getting in the Hall of Fame. I hope he's okay health-wise.
Don't bring it up. He'll get mad. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should. Right. No, hey, Chuck, I made 2 videos promoting him. So should Plunkett. And, and then we have, of course, the late, great Ken Stabler.
Snake was the best.
The Snake, Dave Hum, backup.
Backed up for years, fucking ALS.
Punter Ray Guy.
One of the best.
Great. Ever. Some of the greatest offensive linemen in NFL history. Henry Lawrence, George Bueller, Dave Dalby.
Good friend of mine. Dave Dalby died, killed himself.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. You're kidding me. What?
He had CTE, but never donated his organs for proof. But me and his wife know he couldn't handle it. He drove an Astrovan into a pole in LA years back.
Oh, no.
So it was all the same characteristics of these guys that are committing suicide. Don't forget, he was a 12-year offensive center.
That's right. And he preceded the great O Jim Otto.
Yep, two centers, almost 30 years combined.
Yeah. And we had the great Gene Upshaw.
That was the governor.
The governor. And also
he was the best.
Later, the head of the Players Association. I had the pleasure of meeting, and of all places, officially, at the Four Seasons Hotel at Maestro's. At the Four Seasons, I took Rachel there for dinner. In 2004, we were there for the Super Bowl, and Gene was there. And then, of course, the late great Cliff Branch. Rest in peace.
Yep,
should be in the Hall of Fame. Definitely.
Still didn't pay the child support he owed my wife.
What?
That's a joke we used to always say. I'd see him at the game. I go, Cliff, where's the check for my kid? Where's the check? Man, she quit saying that. Everybody's gonna think I owe you money. Oh, it was the best. That's the relationship. My wife and him were. Don't forget, my wife worked for the Raiders for 10 years.
Oh, was she? That's right. Yeah, that's right.
She ran merchandising under Mike Davis. I mean, under MT Mark.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So
I had good relationships with all those guys, man.
And then we've got how can we forget my mom's friend I met in 1975 at our house on Brookdale, Otis Sistrunk, who actually lives around here in Georgia.
I paid him $10 for an autograph. He goes, "Man, are you going to sell this?" I go, "No, I just want your autograph." Shit. you know how many autographs I have? Ask how many I paid for.
You know, here's the contrast. Hey, Chuck.
That's the only one I ever paid for.
I'll remember this like it happened yesterday. He comes by the house. This is 1975, around the summer, and I'm upstairs. I was in my room. I was in the Star Trek. I was a loner, you know, and I like to read my books and science fiction and all that. And I was and all that stuff. And I was into photography. Anyway, my mom says, "Zenny, come downstairs. I have someone I want you to meet." And I said, "Okay." Yeah.
He must have skipped the shit out of you when you seen him.
No, not at all.
I'm joking.
And so I said, he says, "This is Otis." I said, "Hey, how do you do?" I didn't know what he did. I said, "So what do you do?" He goes, I play football." I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, I didn't know anything about football at the time. And I was into being a black intellectual. Because my only observation about football at that point was at 6 years old, I said, I was 6. And I said, "Hey, how come black folks aren't coaching, and how come they're all playing?" In response to my now late grandfather's comment that I should play football. And I said, "I don't want." That's when I was 6 years old when I said that. So here comes Otis Sistrunk, and I didn't mean to insult the guy, but you know, you're a kid and you say what's right, it's on your mind, right? And so anyway, I said, "So Mr. Sistrunk, do you like Star Trek?" And he goes, "I don't know about Star Trek." Oh, okay. I told him a little about Star Trek and Spock and all that stuff. And so then I said, "So are you into photography?" He goes, "I know how to use a camera." I said, "Oh, I have a Nikon." So, you know, the whole first meeting lasted a few minutes. And I said, "Well, it was nice to meet you, Mr. Sistrunk," and I went back upstairs. And then it occurred to me that if I was going to be seeing him, you know, a lot, I should know something about him. So I found him in America in the Encyclopedic History of Professional Football. He was in there, and but there was also a section on Tom Landry and the Dallas Cowboys and multiple offense, flex defense, and so that's how that chapter of my life took off. But anyway, yeah, Otis Sistrunk was in the living room, and so I became a Raider fan that way, mainly because he was a very nice man.
They were all the community back then.
Yeah, very nice man.
They needed second jobs. They only had second jobs.
And he was nice to my mom. Okay.
He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Did you know? You remember Charles Filliot?
Yeah, it's number 77, defensive end. Sure do. Yep.
He used to block a lot of extra points, boy. We haven't had a guy like that.
That guy was what, 7'7"?
Oh, he used to block so many. He wasn't too bright, but he sure was funny.
Charles Foulial, he knew how to get it done. Big Ben Davidson was another one, you know.
Oh, there's so many things we can talk about.
Art Toms.
I gotta move.
Oh, okay. Art Toms too. I interviewed him for. Oh, yeah. Hey, Charlie, thanks a lot for the time, buddy.
We could talk forever. There's so many other things, players, so many guys I met. I got close to a lot of the guys in LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Robinson, Jerry Robinson. I came close.
Yeah.
Man, the guy that should have probably got the Super Bowl MVP. Rod Martin. Good.
Rod Martin. I met Rod Martin in training camp a few years ago. Great guy. Rod Martin. So, like I said, John Madden is at the center.
I don't don't see him on Sundays anymore like the old days.
Now John Madden's at the center of that, and I have to applaud Mark Davis for giving the Raiders a home because we may not. I certainly didn't like the way it came out, but what could you do?
If they were to go anywhere, they went to the right spot.
I agree.
I have a friend that I just recently met, and if you want, I give you his number. He grew up with the Madden kids. He used to go. He was going to bring me too. I go, just bring me one day on a Sunday, because on Sundays they'd all watch the games. They'd have all the games on with John.
Mm-hmm.
But so what happened? So this was a month ago, and I asked, "How's John doing?" He goes, "Oh, he's all right, Chuck. I don't think he's telling me the truth." He goes, "He can't hear. When you talk to him, he can't hear at all." Even with hearing aids. So he literally almost lost his hearing.
Oh, no.
So I'll get more information if you want to talk to the guy.
I'd love to.
He was real close to the sons and the mother. In Virginia, I loved his wife. That was
I talked to Joe Madden decades ago when I was trying to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland. And we talked about something we were planning that didn't come about. That was the only time. But anyway.
I got this guy. I'm going to get this guy to call you sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. All right, buddy.
Go watch the 4 segments for an hour. I cannot believe you haven't seen that.
He's talking about Rebels.
It's an hour segment.
Of the
HBO
70s.
Sports.
HBO Sports.
It's rated as one of the best documentaries ever on HBO.
The Rebels of Oakland. The Rebels of Oakland.
Rebels of the 70s.
The Rebels of the 70s.
And the Ace.
He's in it. Chuck Santana.
Margaret DeGrassi, one of the best.
There you go.
You'll love it. Watch that and call me.
You got it. All right, man. Drive careful.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Best to mother.
You got it. Best to the missus.
She's the best.
There you go. All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. Happy New Year, buddy. I'll talk to you.
Happy New Year too. Got it.
All
right, see ya. One of the greats, Charlie Santana Jr., who, again, I've known for, a long time. Man, oh, man. I first officially met him in 93 when I started with the Montclarian and started covering the Raiders from a news perspective, in a sense, right? Wow. Almost makes you want to, cry. That's something else. Yeah. I think you hear John Madden's legacy and how we relate, the friendships, the camaraderie, the kind of raw frankness, that kind of banter, that exchange that I think sometimes is gone today. You might want to say it's of a certain age, and you would be right. Okay, you would be correct. It was the age before the internet and social media and smartphones when people talk to each other. Okay, and says Vince Lombardi was John and John Madden was mine. There you go, Randy. Thank you. But it was it was a different time because we weren't tied together by technology. There wasn't anything virtual. Everything was real. So, and that's what comes out of it, right? And I think there's a certain magic to that that carries the generations. Because why? For one reason, it's authentic. It's the authenticity of voice. And I think that's what John Madden brought to the world and has been echoed and communicated. That whole idea of him saying, well, it's like this, boom, it's like this, right? Okay. That's authentic. That's Oakland. That's Oakland, what you hear. Oakland of that time. And an Oakland that has been forgotten, but is still there if you visit Oakland. All right? There's a lot of people in Oakland who are younger who roll that way. Even with tech, they talk to you in a way that transcends generations. And it doesn't need a video or a social media meme or post to communicate it, and it can't be easily replicated by an online cartoon. All right, it's something you have to experience. It's about groups like Tower Power and instruments. It's a realness, is what I'm trying to get to you. It's a realness about the human existence that's all too often taken for granted. All too often taken for granted. I'm going to see if I can have some fun here, and maybe I can reach out. Trying to catch up with this man. I called him earlier. I hope he's okay. I was trying to get a hold of Ray Chester earlier. I haven't heard back from Ray. I called him earlier a couple months ago. Let me just kind of out of the blue see if I can get him to say something here. Ray's one of the great ones, you know. But as Santana was saying, he's a little slow. He's walking slow. So he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's been on here before.
Please leave a message, and I will return your call as soon as possible.
Like I said, Ray should be in the Hall of Fame. Ray, hey, Zenny, trying to get a hold of you again. I hope you're well. We just were on talking about John Madden, and couldn't even conclude the show without at least, trying to get a hold of you, and telling people once again you should be in the Hall of Fame. So 510-517-7565. That's my number. Call me. So anyway, Ray Chester, and I think I'm gonna have some fun with a guy that has been part of my. Let's see if I can get a hold of Richard. This will be your call. Maybe not. No, that doesn't work. He was on. Didn't work. Richard Lieberman. So anyway, I think that will wrap it up because there's a lot that I could say, but let me get to some of your comments here. I got that one out before. And then Randy says Ray Chester should be in the Hall of Fame 30 years ago. Yeah, Ray Chester out of Morgan State was Kellen Winslow before Kellen Winslow. And he was certainly Gronk before Gronk. No, he didn't have the mannerisms and all that, but he definitely had the style of play. And as great a pass catcher as he was, it's too bad that they didn't throw to him even more, considering his speed. He was first-round pick. But for Ray Chester, considering his pioneering pass catching and running abilities, not to be in the NFL Hall of Fame is a crime. And yes, he was coached by John Madden. There's so much I could say about John Madden and his amazing impact on the game, but I think the most important thing I can say is that John Madden was impacted by Oakland and the East Bay, in the Bay Area. Okay, and he's really a Bay Area story, and I think that's the one thing that you really have to look at. There is one person I got to reach out to because I feel like this would be a miss if I didn't, and maybe, man. Let's see here. Let's see if I'm missing. Yeah, there we go. Mr. Excitement, they used to call him. This is like a shot in the dark. But I gotta get the man. I gotta get the man's comments on the show. I just got to. And he's probably out working, covering something. Or he might be on vacation with his kids. He's got sons in college now. I'm talking about Vern Glenn, who and
your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 4157.
let me not do it that way. Sorry, I wound up giving out his number. About to stop it. Vern Glenn is one of the great sports anchors of our Bay Area history. Would have a lot to say about the Raiders and Raider lore. And John Madden. Cliff Bolden says Ray Chester, Cliff Branch, Jim Plunkett, and Lester Hayes, Darryl LaMonica too, should all be in the Hall of Fame. Right, that's right. Darryl LaMonica, Mark Van Egan should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Banaszak should be in the Hall of Fame. We've got so many Raider greats that form, in particular, the era of greatness, as I call it, the 70s. And that it's a shame. And that's why I was saying that Charlie Santana Jr., there needs to be an Oakland Sports Hall of Fame rather than waiting for the NFL to put them all in. Immortalize them, right? Maintain the culture. We don't have to rely on politicians to do this sort of thing. What the heck is all that about? This is a private family affair. Ray Hansen says, don't forget Todd Christensen and in the aforementioned Dave Dalby. Absolutely. Just again, great Raider greats. And then Alo Casal should be in as an executive. Yep, Jack Tatum. Alo Casal should be in as an executive posthumously. A great Al Davis right hand. Amy Trask should be in the Hall of Fame. Amy Trask should be in the Hall of Fame. Okay. A lot of history there, a lot of great people, who many of whom left us, in some cases too early, like Cliff Branch. All right. Bill King, yeah. Bill King should be in, well, he's a multi-sports broadcaster. Warriors, Raiders, A's. He covered all the bases. Bill King had the handlebar mustache, and they had that voice that was unmistakable. Randy Hansen mentions Warren Wells as one who should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Absolutely, Warren Wells, and again, so many greats that have passed through the doors of Harbor Bay Parkway and the Raider headquarters there, and then also at 7901 Oakport Street, right off of the Nimitz Freeway. That was the first Raider headquarters. And then they left that when they went to LA, and they came back. They, thanks to the city of Oakland's money, took over. Otis Sistrunk, my friend, who's mom's friend, they used to say he was from the University of Mars because he was bald, like this, all right? Otis Sistrunk, another great player, and can think of so many people who've come through. Dave Rowe, number 74, remember him, defensive tackle, and played little nose as well for the Raiders. Legendary. And other greats. We talked about Phil Villapiano, who, as Charlie would say, could talk a mile a minute about John Madden. The number 55, Dan Connors. Dan Connors, one of the great anchors of the 11 Angry Men defense of the Raiders in the late 60s and early 70s. Dan Connors, another. And Tom Keating, of course. Thank you. Along with Dan Connors. This is really cool. We've got, and I talked about the Ray guy for about a minute, and Dave Hum, quarterback and punter. Don't forget, Dave Hum could kick. She certainly could. And we also have the greatest sideline pass catcher ever, who must be mentioned just in this conversation, just to mention him, because you can't talk about Cliff Branch without talking about Fred Biletnikoff. You just can't do it. Branch and Biletnikoff as a receiving tandem was a household name for many, many years. Many, many years. And you have to, you're right, Freddie, as Randy would say, Freddie B. Freddie B, that's right. Whose actually daughter is connected with me on Facebook. Wow, so many great people, great players, great games, great games, great players, great history, great moments, some sad moments, some happy. And Skip Thomas, talked about Dr. Death. Again, George Atkinson, and I got to find George. I've got to find George. Got to find George. He's around here, literally in Georgia somewhere. He gave me his number. I didn't put it in the right place because I'm stupid. And I hope he's well. Well, and he's been through a lot lately. George has been through a lot lately. Mike Ciani, there's a name I haven't heard in some time. Mike Ciani. Clarence Davis, yep, sea of hands against the Dolphins in the Coliseum. Yep. In the Coliseum. Never forget that contest. And I mean, there's so many memories that come back too. That just sometimes it just makes my head hurt, right? We've got, I remember when the Raiders went from 4-3 to a 3-4, and after the Broncos had it, and then we had our version of it. It didn't take John Madden long to change over. He saw the light real quick. And I think the Raiders did really well in the Raiders version of the 3-4. There had to be that Raider version of 3-4, and the Raider version of 3-4 had the defensive ends come in a little bit to better shield the inside linebackers. One of the major defensive ends was number 72. Thank you very much. John Matuzak, 7 feet 2 inches, a mountain man, big beard, who gained not a small measure of fame later in entertainment, and I believe in wrestling, if I'm not mistaken. Ted Hendricks, I love Ted. I saw Ted at training camp not too long ago. Great guy. Has always been very nice. He is a big, gentle person. And that is Ted Hendricks. Just a great, nice person. We have wow, this is hard. I think I'd get choked up like that. Oh boy. It's difficult when you lose people. And it's difficult when you feel like a generation is going by you. Yep, Charlton Oakes and Ike Lassiter. 2 other Raider greats. Thank you, Clifton. Monty Johnson, inside linebacker, and Willie Hall, strong safety. Thank you, Randy. Monty Johnson, inside linebacker, who played a whale of a game against the Broncos when we lost to 78. Kenny King, 77-yard touchdown pass, catch and run from Jim Plunkett in Super Bowl 15. Remember Kenny King? Thank you, Aaron Blaylock. Gerald Irons, defensive end. The mad batter. Could bat them with the best of them. Wow. And I'm going to give a shout out. There's Billy Cannon at tight end. Bob Chandler. I'm going to give a shout out to people that you may not know of the Raiders who were in the office. And Cheryl Nichols, who's still with the Raiders to this day, so where the Raiderette, she's in Las Vegas. And one thing I love about Cheryl is, first of all, she's always nice to me. And I say that because sometimes, well, I don't want to get into all that stuff, but it is centered around when I was a Raiderette judge. And I think, let me put it this way, as George Atkinson said it, I think, best. He said, Zinni, if one of the contestants came by and they were taller than 5'6", I knew that was you. And I always picked the ones that were tall and professional. So if you were a Raiderette who was about 5'6", and nothing against someone who was less than that at all, because of girlfriends who were short in that size, but if you were an attorney, because Raiderettes were also, they had other jobs. If you were an attorney, I immediately gave you a 10. I started right there, a 10. Okay. So I was a different grader than other people. And there are some people who didn't like that. Run Jones, thank you. Richard Romansky and Carl Weathers. Yes, Carl Weathers, who I saw because he was the MC at the NFL draft in 2017 in Philadelphia. But some years prior to that, I tried to get him to be in our Super Bowl video, but didn't quite work out. But I was honored nonetheless to at least get the call twice from Mr. Weathers. We're trying to work out a deal. Carl Weathers, a great man in American culture. And he says Gus Otto. And I remember there was, Neil Colsey. Neil Colsey, man, that's a blast from the past. Neil Colsey. I have not heard that name in decades. Neil Colsey. Ira Matthews. And I'm waiting for, there are people that I think of, and I see their faces, but their names escape me. So actually, this is kind of cool, right? To have out there, right? And how about some of the news people that are covering, like my friend Glenn Dickey, who knew Al Davis, wrote some great books about him, and started off critical of Glenn. Glenn and I became great friends. I got him on the internet first when he was having some difficulties with his news employers, and I said, "Hey, get online." I got him online, never got off. Glenn Dickey wrote some great books about Al Davis that you should read. Glenn Dickey, Glenn Dickey, Dickey, Dickey. Great person. Charles Phillips, Randy Hansen mentions, as well. And there were Raider front office people that, like Mike Taylor, who's been my friend to this day, who was with the Raiders in the 90s, who is, I think, deserving of the moniker Mr. Front Office Raider. Mr. Front Office Raider. He has been a steady hand with the organization for many decades and is a great person. Although he's got a wicked sense of humor, but I don't want to go in. But Steve Sylvester, John Vella, and Bob Brown. Big Bob Brown. Wow. Man. Marvin Upshaw as well. Marvin Upshaw, Gene Upshaw's brother, who I had met in 1979 because my mom and Marvin Upshaw and Gene Upshaw are involved in a function connected with the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame. All right. So it says, I'm going to miss the legendary John Madden. Me too. I'm going to miss something I believe should be maintained and rebuilt, and that's Oakland. And something I talk about called the soul of Oakland. This is about the soul of Oakland. John Madden represented the soul of Oakland. All these players we're talking about represented the soul of Oakland. A way of life, authenticity that didn't start with John Madden and didn't stop with him. He became the most famous member of the tribe, if you will. But it's an authenticity born of a time. But it can be maintained and it should be, because we're at a time where we can lose ourselves through technology. We don't want to do that. George Bueller. That's right, George Bueller and Mickey Marvin. George Bueller, offensive line. Mickey Marvin. And Carl Garrett. Carl Garrett. Great players. Ruth says, I used to watch Sunday Night Football since 2006. There you go. Folks, I'm going to wrap that one up. Randy, thank you very much. Everybody else, thank you very much. Once a Raider, always a Raider. John Madden, rest in peace. But you'll be forever immortalized by your game. So go out there. Mike Davis, too. And go out there and play, all right? And Aaron Blaylock says, I have to hunt down that HBO doc about Oakland sports now. Yeah, it's called, let me help you out with that, okay? It's not what it's called. It's not called, it's not called, let me help you out with that. It's called, I'm getting it right now. Going back to the, what it's called. It's right here. There it is. Rebels of Oakland, the A's, the Raiders in the 70s. Documentary that shows the dynasty years of the Oakland Raiders and Oakland A's in the 1970s, written by Frank DeFord, with Tom Hanks, John Madden, and Chuck Santana, my buddy who was just on the show earlier. So, yeah, get that. Because as Chuck said, I can't believe I haven't seen it. So I got to watch it too. All right. There you go. All right. And I want to say thank you very much to Chuck Santana for being on, and was really great. Monty Poole is in here. I've known Monty for years, but for some particular reason, Monty's not talking to me, and I don't know why. Even though I created a doggone combination online TV show for him and all that stuff. I hate that. It's these friends you lay out your life for and you create these ideas for, and they act like they're not grateful. Whatever. All right. Subscribe to Zenny62. Bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com. And thank you all very much. We'll be back. See ya.